Welcome to Gentle Yoga with Leo Bray on behalf of Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center in Palm Springs. Check us out online at urbanyoga.org or Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center on Facebook. Check out the schedule of daily classes. Notice there's a tip jar there where you can make contributions to support our online offerings. We'll start today in child's pose. For anybody watching on the video later, not familiar with child's pose, you bring your big toes together. Come up on your hands and knees, bring big toes together. You can open your knees further apart. If you have trouble with your knees, it might be better to keep them close in. Sit back towards your heels. Walk your hands forward, let your head come down. And that is a nice, simple, restful pose, sometimes called everyone's favorite pose. If your head doesn't quite reach the floor, you might stack your hands and rest your forehead on your hands. Put a yoga block or a pillow under your forehead. With your head supported, your neck can disengage. Bring your attention to your breathing, letting it slow down and get deeper. Notice all the points of contact with the ground. Notice the way your breathing moves your body in this particular shape, and the way those movements feel, the way your breath feels as it slows down and gets deeper. Extending your attention beyond your breathing, notice what else is going on in your body. Scan your body. Check in with yourself. Notice how everything's feeling. Not needing to change anything here, just taking stock. Making mental notes of anything that's feeling off, any stiffness or soreness that registers. So you can keep these things in mind as we practice. Bearing in mind that you're welcome to skip or modify any part of the practice we'll be doing. When your mind wanders, gently come back to observing yourself, noticing your breath, taking care of yourself. If in addition to these shared intentions, there's any other intention you wish to set for your own practice today, you may do so now. Let's take 3 deep cleansing breaths. Breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth with a sighing sound. With your next inhale, slowly bring yourself forward and up. We'll shift from child's pose to what we call table or box pose, squaring things off so your hips are above your knees, your shoulders are above your wrists, or you might have your shoulders behind your wrists. If having your shoulders right above your wrists feels like too much on your wrists, you can bring your hands further forward, have your wrists at less of an angle. Inhale to bring your heart forward and let your head and tailbone go up. Exhale, bring your heart up, let your head and tailbone come down. Just continue at the pace of your own breath. And maybe with repetition, these breaths and these movements grow bigger. And after your next exhale, come back to table with your spine parallel to the floor. We'll start to take some twists here. We're going to work our way up from the waist into an arm extension. So we'll go to your right first. So inhaling, twist to the right through your lower back, your middle back, your upper back, then reach your right arm out and up and look up towards your hand. Exhale, come down and reach across under your body behind your arm. And let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, open up and reach out and look up. And exhale, come down, thread the needle. Maybe the movement's a little deeper. And 1 more. Inhale, open. Exhale, come down. And then gently let your right shoulder come down to the floor. Let the right side of your head come down to the floor. And you might just stay there. Maybe that's plenty to do. Just breathe in the twist, resting on the ground. If you want, you can explore some leg extension, maybe arm extension, maybe both. You could reach back and press into the ball of your left foot. Alternately, if you feel a little more daring, you might pick your foot up, reach straight back in the air through the sole of your foot. This can make you tip to the right and roll onto your back. Or you might bring this foot over by your right hand, like that. Or you could skip all that and leave your knee on the ground. You might keep this left hand right where it is, or you might reach it up towards the ceiling and explore rotating in your shoulder socket. Think of an owl turning its head back and forth, moving your arm like that. Or you could bend your elbow, bring the back of your hand to your lower back and open your shoulder like that. And you can do this arm extension without the leg or the leg without the arm, or do both like this, or skip both back where we started. And in each version, the breath does different things. The breath does some pretty neat work as we come into different positions. You feel your breath in different spots. And we'll come out of this all by stages. So if you moved your left hand, bring it back to the mat here to stabilize yourself. If you moved your left leg, bring it back to center line and bring the knee down again. Press into that left hand, huge inhale, open up and lift up and look up. Then exhale, lower that right hand back to table. Take a few cow and cat breaths, and then we'll do all that on the other side. I'll just reorient myself so I'm not facing away from the microphone and the camera as I do the other one. When you're ready, remember to work your way up from the waist. Inhale, twist your lower back, middle back, upper back. Reach your arm out and up. Exhale, come down and reach across. And we'll do it 2 more times before we lower down and maybe explore those extensions. Take your time nice and gently, let your shoulder down and let your head down. remain just like that, or reach back and press into your right foot, or reach your foot back in the air, or bring it over by your left hand. Your right hand can stay planted, or it can reach up, turn back and forth, or come to your lower back in that half bind. Maybe even over to the opposite hip. Take your time to undo any extensions you're taking. If you moved your right hand, bring it back to the ground by your face. If you moved your right leg, bring it back to center and plant your knee again. Press into your right hand, inhale, open up and reach up and look up. And exhale, bring your hand down. Take a few rounds of cow and cat again. And come back to table. And we'll start to stand into a forward fold. You might use blocks here under your hands to ease the transition of stepping one foot up between the hands. It's okay if it takes more than one step. And it's okay if your arm helps your leg. And then step the other foot forward as well. Hang out like this, arms and head hanging heavy. Hands could remain on the blocks or hang in the air or drag on the floor as you bend and straighten your legs and sway back and forth. Slowly nod your head yes. Shake your head no. Inhale, lift up halfway. Press your hands to the front of your legs. Feel the crown of your head reach forward away from your tailbone. Exhale, relax down. Inhale, roll slowly to standing, hands up overhead, palms together. Then exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Let your hands hang at your sides. Raise your right shoulder towards your ear. Shift it back, then let it down. Then your left shoulder up and back and down. Inhale, reach out to the sides. As you exhale, reach for your shoulder blades and hug yourself. Bring your chin over towards your shoulder. Let it roll down past your sternum and up to the other shoulder. Down past your sternum, back where you started. Turn your head to center. Inhale, open your arms. As you exhale, cross them the other way. Bring your chin towards your shoulder and let it go back and forth in that V down to your sternum, up to the other side, down to your sternum, back up again. Face forward, Inhale, spread your wings. Exhale, twist to the right and take a couple breaths. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, twist to your left and take a couple breaths there. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, let your arms come down. Inhale your arms out and up overhead. Interlace your fingers, reach your palms towards the ceiling, and look up at your hands, lift up your heart. Inhale to bring yourself upright. Exhale, bend to the right. Feel full length through both arms. Try not to lift your left heel or let your left shoulder curl forward past your ear. Inhale to come back up through center. As you exhale, bend to the left. See if you can keep the right shoulder back and the right heel down. Inhale, come up to center. Exhale, let your arms come down. Inhale your arms out and up overhead. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale out and up. Exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roll back up to standing, hands overhead. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, down. Plant your hands and step back to plank. Plank can be on hands and feet, or if you prefer, on hands and knees, making a shorter plank. Let your hips come down in line with your shoulders and your knees. And that applies whether you're doing a shorter plank or a longer plank. With an exhale, slowly come all the way down to the floor, keeping your elbows in close as you lower down. Press into your hands. Inhale, lift your head and chest to whatever height feels okay in your lower back. So maybe you're higher than I am, maybe you're lower than I am. Listen to your back. This is where my back wants to go. Exhale, rock back, pass through table. Curl your toes under. Press into your feet to lift your knees. And press into your hands to lift your tail. Downward facing dog. Walk your dog, pedal your feet up and down. Aiming your heels closer and closer to the floor. Inhale, bend your knees and look forward. Exhale, tiptoe forward. Bring your feet up to your hands. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, come down. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, out and up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Plant your hands and step back to plank. When you're ready, from plank, exhale, lower, maybe halfway, maybe all the way. Inhale, bring your heart forward. Exhale, back and up, pass through table if you like, on the way to downward facing dog. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. As you exhale, step your feet forward. Inhale to come up halfway. Exhale back down. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale down. Step back to plank. On an exhale, lower. Inhale, bring your heart forward. Exhale back and up. And take 3 cleansing breaths. Let your knees down. Make your way to child's pose. Vary it however you like. Maybe your child's pose is active and your hands keep reaching forward, or it's more passive and your arms disengage. Maybe you even reach your hands back by your feet instead of reaching forward. Scan your body. Notice your breathing. Notice your contact with the ground. Notice whatever there is to notice. What feels different since last time you were in this posture? There are no wrong answers. Maybe the answer is, I don't know, I can't tell. If you got your hands back by your feet, reach them forward again. Walk your hands over to the left. Let your head follow with the movement of your arms. Raise your right hip, send it back and away from your hands. Breathe into your right side. Big stretch in those muscles under the arm. Let that relax. Walk your hands slowly back through center and over to the right. Lift your left hip and send it away from your hands. Breathe into your left side. Let that relax. Walk your hands back to center. Inhale, bring yourself forward and up to table. I'm going to grab my blocks. You might grab your blocks here, maybe not. Most people use blocks for what we're going to get into here. You're going to step the right foot up between the hands. Maybe you can do that without blocks, maybe not. Sometimes blocks are just nice. It's not a case of I have to have them to do that. It just feels different to do it with those. We're going to explore rocking in the hips. We're going to use the blocks. So you're going to sit back towards your left heel. And bring your blocks with you if you're using blocks. Rock onto your right heel so the right leg's extended. You can stay long in the spine. Maybe you stay up high like this. See what your body wants. Maybe you sit down lower. You can keep the spine long even when you come down lower. And we're going to glide back and forth nice and slowly. Inhale, come forward. And maybe your knee even goes further forward than your ankle. And stretch the quad and the back leg. And exhale, come back. So maybe you slide your blocks like I'm doing. Maybe you walk your blocks. Maybe you pick them up in your hands and just explore that rocking forward, rocking back. See how it feels in each hip, in each leg. Keeping the spine long as you go back and forth, using your blocks as you like, if you like. Maybe you feel very open and you don't need the blocks. Blocks essentially here are bringing the floor closer to your hands. And part of what that does is give more room between your leg and your torso to allow for easier movement and easier breathing, because when your leg presses into your torso, that can restrict your breathing. Maybe you pause at one end of the movement or the other to feel into one of the stretches. And let's meet at the forward part of the movement to switch legs. So from here, from this low lunge, step the right knee back, step the left foot forward, and take your time, sit back towards your right heel, extend your left leg. I always like to pause at the back of the first one anyway. And as you're ready, as you like, explore. Rock forward, rock back. One side might be very different from the other. Maybe you notice the difference in the hip, maybe the calf, maybe the quad. Maybe it seems about the same. Notice whatever's going on and work with what you got. Work with what's there. Accommodating any resistance, gently probing against it, but not trying to bust through it. And next time we come forward, pause there. We'll wrap that up. Step your left knee back under you again. Curl your toes under. And walk your hands back to your knees. You might even use blocks to do that. So come up standing on the knees with the feet engaged like this. We're going to stretch the feet. Sit back towards your heels to whatever degree feels okay for you. This creates a lot of sensation in the feet. You can regulate that sensation by how low or how high you sit. I like to sit on my heels. This feels good on my feet, but I do this a lot. You might also put a block between the floor and your tail, or between your tail and your heels, like a spacer. That'll help you keep up higher. This is what feels good for me. We'll go through some arm movements while we stretch our feet like that. You can always lift up some more or come back some more. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Interlace your fingers. Reach your palms out in front. Lift those arms up overhead. Lower down in front. Bring your hands to your heart. Lift up through center. Come out and down. Now let's do all that 2 more times. Inhale, out and up. Exhale, hands to heart. Maybe interlace the opposite way. Mix it up. Reach your palms forward. Reach your hands up overhead. Lower your arms. Bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, up through center. Exhale, out and down. Once more. Inhale, out and up. Exhale, hands to heart. Interlace your fingers. Reach your palms forward. Raise your hands up. Lower your arms down. Bring your hands to your heart. Inhale up through center. Exhale out and down. The counter pose is the best part. Tip forward onto your hands. Put the tops of your feet on the floor and tap your feet on the floor. Slow or fast, hard or soft. I'm on wall-to-wall carpet. It feels good to me to bang the heck out of the feet. If you're on a hard floor, you gotta take it easy. Whatever sort of tapping feels good to you. Bring your big toes to touch. Move your knees apart. Sit back to child's pose, maybe just half a minute. Inhale, bring yourself forward and up. We're gonna make our way to a seat, so you might cross your ankles, walk your hands in and roll over your ankles, or tip onto one hip and spin around. So we'll all come to a seat with legs extended forward, feet flexed back towards you. Inhale to reach your arms up overhead. As you exhale, fold down over your legs. If your knees want to bend, let them bend. On your inhales, think of the crown of your head reaching forward. On your exhales, think of lowering some more. Feeling for release in your lower back. Resist grabbing your feet or your legs and yanking yourself down with your arms. See if your breath will deepen the fold. Someone joining us quite late. Okay, come on in. Inhaling, walk your hands up the front of your legs and sit yourself up. Let your arms help your legs open out to whatever degree feels all right for you. And let your arms keep helping your legs. Bring your right foot over by your left thigh or left knee. Pivot your torso. Aim the center of your chest at your left foot and flex your left foot back towards you. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, fold down over your leg. And just like with the previous fold, see if Maybe your breath deepens the fold. You inhale, think of the crown of your head reaching forward. You exhale, think of lowering down some more. Slowly reach your left arm out to the side, turn your head, look towards your hand. Turn your thumb down. Bend your elbow, reach the back of your hand towards your right hip and peel that left shoulder back. Whoever came in late left early without turning his camera or microphone on. Maybe had the wrong Zoom. Extend your arm and bring your left hand back over by your right hand. Maybe just realized you had the wrong time. It wasn't a name I recognized. That's what that little sound was. Reach your right arm to the side, turn your head, look towards your hand. Turn your thumb down, bend your elbow to reach the back of your hand towards your left hip and peel your right shoulder back. Extend your arm. Reach it up alongside your ear, overhead, like you want to tap your left hand with your right hand. My hands aren't going to come close, but that's the direction. I'm reaching my right hand towards my left hand and left foot. Reach your arm up and out to the right. Swing it back over by your left arm. Walk your hands up the front of your leg and sit up. Let your arms help your legs. Extend the right one, bend the left one, bring your foot across, pivot your torso, flex your right foot back towards you. Inhale, reach up overhead. Exhale, fold down over your leg. Spend a couple breaths there, maybe going a little deeper. Reach your right arm out to the side, turn your head to the right. Turn your thumb down. Reach the back of your hand towards your left hip, peel your right shoulder back again. Extend your arm. Bring your hand back over by your left hand. Sweep your left arm out to the left. Turn your head to follow. Turn your thumb down. Bring the back of your hand across towards your right hip, peeling your left shoulder back. Extend your arm. Reach it up alongside your ear and overhead to the opposite side. Reach up and out to the side and sweep all the way across and walk your hands up your leg. Let your arm help extend your left leg. Nudge your legs towards each other, bring the soles of your feet together, leaving a big space between your pelvis and your heels. You're going to grab the floor, either reach over your ankles to grab the floor or reach under your ankles and grab the floor. And walk your hands forward on the floor. Let your neck disengage, let your head drop. Breathe into the center of your lower back. Slowly scooting your hands back, press with your arms to lift your torso. Keeping your feet together, bring your heels in as close as you can. Interlace your fingers, grab your feet, wriggle on your seat to tilt your pelvis forward. Inhale, lengthen up through the crown of your head. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward with your spine long at first. See how far the long spine will go. When it's not coming down anymore, let your head down. Breathe into your hips. Inhale, slowly sit yourself up. Bring your hands to the outsides of your knees. Push your knees towards each other. Rest your feet on the ground. Rest your hands on the ground, out past your hips. Wiggle your feet further apart, maybe to the edges of your mat if you're on a yoga mat. Let your knees go back and forth to whatever degree they want to go. You might turn your head to the opposite side as your knees go one way, head goes the other. And bring your feet in closer. We'll set up for a bridge pose. You might use blocks here. One way to use blocks is to set the space between your feet to the middle width of the block. And depending on how many blocks you have, you might leave it there. You might just keep your feet planted like that. Scoot your butt towards your heels. Come onto your forearms and onto your back. So you can use up to 3 blocks to play with bridge. And if you don't have blocks, it's okay. They're an option. You want to wind up on your back, feet about hip width apart with your heels as close to your butt as they'll go. You could put a block between your knees the same way on the middle position, setting your ankles and knees up hip width apart. Press into the soles of your feet. Inhale to lift your hips up, come to bridge. For a deeper heart opening, if you want, you can wriggle your shoulder blades towards each other, clasp your hands under you, and reach your knuckles towards your heels. Make sure your neck stays relaxed. Your head should just be resting on the ground. Sometimes we scrunch up our necks. If you're clasping your hands, unclasp them, and exhale, slowly let your hips down. And we'll keep exploring bridge And we have choices, always have choices. You might just float up and down, inhale to go up and exhale to go down, challenging yourself as you like by going higher or slower or taking extra breaths at the top. When and if you like, you might take supported bridge, lift up, plant the block under your sacrum, the bony plate at the base of your spine, and come to rest on the block. So I'm just going to enjoy some supported bridge. Maybe you want to float up and down some more. Whatever your body seems to be calling for. And wrapping up our time in bridge. So if you're in the supported bridge, take your time to lift up off the block, remove it, slowly come down. After the last landing, let's just pause a couple breaths. And next we'll play with our straps. You can move the blocks out of the way. I'll reorient myself for this little strap sequence. Notice your contact with the floor. We want to keep the back of your head and your shoulder blades and your sacrum on the floor and bring your knees towards your chest. You can take one end of the strap in each hand and run it under your feet. And yes, you might have to lift your sacrum to get the strap under your feet, and then you can just let your sacrum down again. Staying grounded, reach your feet towards the ceiling. Long legs, long strap, long arms, not worrying about angles, just length. Point your toes up at the ceiling. Point your toes down towards your face. Let your feet relax. Slide them apart, keeping them inside the strap. And gently draw on both ends of the strap to guide your feet back towards each other. Take your right foot out of the strap, press your right heel and right calf against the ground. Hold both ends of the strap in your right hand. Reach your left arm to the side. Keeping your shoulder blades on the ground, your sacrum will lift now. Draw your leg to the right and turn your head to the left. Then we'll spend about a minute in each of these 4 postures, 2 for each side. Slowly come back up to center. Take the strap in your left hand. Press your right hand down on the front of your right hip bone. Keeping that side of your pelvis anchored down, right cheek on the ground, let your limbs fall to the left. Very gently to come out of this position, bring those limbs back to center nice and slowly. Raise your right leg, step your right foot inside the strap. Take your left foot out, press your left leg to the floor. Reach your right arm to the side. Bring your leg to the left and turn your head to the right. And softly come back to center. Take the strap in your right hand. Press your left hand down on the front of your left hip. Let your limbs fall to the right. Ever so gently come back to center. Lift your left leg. Draw your knees towards your chest. Set your strap aside. Hug your knees and rock and roll on your back to massage it against the floor for a few breaths. Reach your feet towards the sky. Reach your hands up and take hold of your legs or your feet, however you want, and play with bending and straightening your arms and legs. You can play with inverting as long as you like. And whenever you feel complete, make your way to a resting pose of your choice. Maybe you go for the classic closing posture of corpse pose with your legs extended, feet splayed open, hands at your sides. But you can choose any position where you can be comfortably still for a couple minutes. As you find your comfortable stillness, your breath will deepen and slow down. You may choose to focus on your breath as a simple meditation, or reflect upon an intention you'd set at the start of our practice. Just let your mind go wherever it wants to go. Give yourself some even deeper breaths. Invite small movements to your body, maybe wiggling your fingers and toes. Any movements you like. These are just suggestions. Maybe rolling your wrists and ankles next. Gradually letting the movements get bigger and bigger. Taking your time and moving mindfully. When you're ready for bigger movements, nice and gently sit yourself up. There's no rush. Savoring that delicious, relaxed feeling that generally comes with Shavasana. Bring your hands to your heart. Thank you for sharing in practice this morning. The light within me sees and honors and bows to that same light within each of you. Namaste. Again, I'm Leo Bray on behalf of Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center in Palm Springs. Please visit us online at urbanyoga.org or Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center on Facebook. Stop by the tip jar, check out the schedule of daily offerings. Questions and feedback are welcome on whatever channel you're joining us. Have a wonderful day.